time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show brings you famous celebrities and amazing people from all over the world. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. So sit back and relax and enjoy the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking a budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Evan Fine of the Senior Reserve Group. When you start thinking about retirement, who are you going to call about Medicare? Why call the best? Evan Fine of Senior Reserve Group, specializing in Medicare, health, and long-term care insurance. Evan can be reached at 1-800-650-9357. That's 1-800-650-9357. Or email to evanfine@seniorreservegroup.com. Evan is licensed in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Delaware, South Carolina, and Florida. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. Also, check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can also download and listen on SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, and watch the interview on YouTube as well. We are here with one of the voice finalists from Season 1. She comes out of Crawfordsville, Indiana. That is the state home of John Cougar Mellencamp. She's a country western singer, very up and coming, and she's off to a great start. And she wrote with Reba McIntyre. She wrote Turn on the Radio, also sang with the band Perry, Martina McBride, Kelly Clarkson, Vince Gill, and Gretchen Wilson, and so on and so on. And she's got a huge hit that is on the charts, and it is smoking. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we're going to get right to the point. Ladies and gentlemen, the John Cougar of country music, Cherie Oakley. Cherie, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much. What an introduction. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, no problem. And if John's listening out there, make sure you get us a tasty freeze for Jack and Diane and for Cherie, okay? So if you're listening, please do that.
Exactly. There you go. I love it. Love it.
Yes, that's right. You can go for a tasty freeze right now. You come out of Crawfordsville, Indiana. You're a country western singer, and you're on the first season of The Voice, which you're one of the finalists. And you wrote with Reba McIntyre the hit Turn on the Radio, which too became a big hit. You also sang with the band Perry, Martina McBride, Kelly Clarkson, Vince Gill, Gretchen Wilson, and so on and so on. You also performed at a number of awards. You also got a big hit you like to talk about. But first, before getting into all that, just tell us how I got started.
Well, I started singing ever since I could remember. Ever since I could walk and talk, I started singing. If you ask my mother, she'd say I started humming at 6 months old. So I think music has just always been ingrained in me. It's all that I've ever wanted to do. It's all that I've ever known. It's all I ever dreamed about. And I used to make up my songs ever since I could remember, just as a toddler. So luckily I grew up in an evangelistic family who also had a background in the arts. And so they never held back on encouraging me to pursue my dreams. And so very fortunate with that, and got an agent at 4, a manager at 5, came to Nashville in early 2000s and started really honing in on my songwriting skills, started singing demos, and then that led to a lot of background vocal work for a lot of amazing artists. And one thing kind of led to another, and I'd always dreamed of being an artist myself. But, you have to kind of pay your dues and climb up that ladder. And so I'm so thankful that it's worked out the way that it did, and here I am.
That sounds fantastic. And how'd you connect with Reba McIntyre with writing a hit song and also performing?
Well, so I'd been writing for several years as well as touring as a background vocalist, and at the time, I'd done quite a few things in the studio on different people's records or just singles for people, and then I was on tour with Gretchen Wilson full time while we were writing, and at the time, Gretchen had offered me a deal to be her first artist, and so that really just sort of lit an artistic fire in me, which is actually how Turn on the Radio came about. We actually originally wrote the song for me. And then, as things happen in the music industry, it didn't work out. And so here I was, a girl with a song, kind of going, I really believe that this song is special. And I just felt like the song was bigger than me, but I didn't know what that meant. And then all of a sudden I got a call. Reba had heard the song and wanted the song, and called my cell phone personally and asked for the song, which was amazing because I grew up just a huge fan of hers. And then she cut it and asked me to do all the background vocals on it. So I did get to hear myself on the radio singing it.
Nice.
And I got to hear myself on the radio singing it with someone who was just an absolute idol for me. So it was a surreal, amazing experience, and I just think the world of her.
And it's amazing, too, when you get that call from Reba McIntyre. I thought she was going to have you eat some Kentucky Fried Chicken. What'd you think?
Well, it was crazy, yeah, because when you grow up, idolizing someone, because she was kind of in her heyday when I was a child, and I was fascinated by her. She just owned country music, and she owned being a woman, and she owned being a strong woman, and she wasn't afraid to push the boundaries, but she was classy, and I just thought the world of her. So yeah, when you get a phone call from that voice with that accent, saying, I love your song and I want to cut it, I was pretty flabbergasted.
Oh my. And do you still work with Reba McIntyre to this day, or have you any plans in the future to work with Reba?
I would love to in the future. It's one of those things where I really only ever was able to write from what felt very authentic to me. So I realized, oh, well, you just write as an artist. That's how you write. And so I don't really write a lot of music for other artists. I write for myself. But it's one of those things where I would love to sing with her. I'd love to sing Turn on the Radio someday with her. And who knows? You never know. Life is so crazy, and things have come full circle for me in so many different areas in my life. And you just never know what's going to happen in the future. But I adore her. I was able to spend more time around her when I went on tour with Kelly Clarkson on a personal level. And that was just fascinating. I just love being around people that I can soak in so much good from. She knows how to be a fantastic artist and make people feel so important. And man, I just soaked that in from her.
That is amazing, too. We'll get to some of the artists that you have worked with in just a minute. You're listening to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. Powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking a budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable, custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Evan Fine of the Senior Reserve Group. When you start a business or own a business for a while, who are you going to call for sole proprietorship insurance? Why not call the expert, Evan Fine of Senior Reserve Group. He also specializes in Medicare and long-term care insurance. Evan can be reached at 1-800-650-9357. That's 1-800-650-9357. Or Evan Fine at seniorreservegroup.com. Licensed in 7 states in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Delaware, South Carolina, and Florida. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can also check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can also download and listen on SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, and watch the interview on YouTube as well. And coming next month, The Mike Wagner Show can be Seen on TLB TV, the Liberty Beacon TV network, video interviews will be coming on the Mike Wagner Show next month to TLB TV. We're here with singer, country western extraordinaire Cherie Oakley out of Crawfordsville, Indiana. She's been a country western singer for a little bit, and she was on The Voice in its first season, and she was with Reba McIntyre, also wrote one of the songs, Turn on the Radio. She also sang with Gretchen Wilson, the band Harry, and Martina McBride and Kelly Clarkson, and of course with some of the artists I had mentioned as well too. And what was it like working with Gretchen Wilson as well, making Gill a little bit of description?
Oh my gosh. Well, I love Gretchen. Gretchen's like family to me. I'd come off the Carrie Underwood tour, and it's very interesting working with two polar opposites. And so, you know, a lot of things are run according to the way that an artist is when you're on the road. And so, you know, Carrie couldn't be more different than Gretchen. Mm-hmm. And so it was interesting. I learned so much from both of them, you know, and admire so many unique qualities that they both have. But it was interesting because it was just such a different environment for me. And it was a learning experience I'll never forget. And I'm so thankful. I feel like because I've been able to be a background vocalist and be on the road with so many artists, because usually when you're in the studio, the artists don't show up in the studio. You sing with their voices, but you don't meet them. So to be on tour with them or perform with them and to be able to actually have experiences with them and learn from them, I just feel like it's helped me so much on my road as an artist.
That is interesting. And do you get contacted by the artists themselves, or is it through an agency just to sing background vocals, or the record company?
You know, I mean, I think it's different ways in different genres. For me in particular, it was through word of mouth. I was recommended by a good friend of mine to the band leader of Carrie Underwood, and that was the first gig that I did. And did that promotional tour for her, which turned into a full tour for her record. And then went from that to being out with Gretchen for about 4.5 years. And it was all kind of word of mouth for me, or recommendation. Gretchen was a funny one. She had heard about me. I'd worked with John Rich for a while, and she heard about me and asked one night. My now husband used to tour with her in her band as her band leader, and she said, well, why don't you get up and sing a song with me? But she didn't tell me which song to learn. And I was like, well, goodness, she didn't tell me which song to learn. I don't know how to prep for this. So I just told my husband, send me the set list. And I had a 4-hour drive to Memphis, and I learned 20-something songs in like 4 hours.
Wow.
And I showed up, and she said, which song are you going to sing? And I said, whichever one you want. She goes, well, which one did you learn? I said, I learned your whole set. She said, what? She said, you want to sing the whole set? And I said, yeah. She said, I've never had a female up on stage with me.
Really?
And she said, yeah. So I was her first female up on stage with her, and she hired me that night. And we've just had a great relationship. Like I said, she's like family to me, and my parents adore her, and so yeah, she's special.
That is amazing. I never heard of anyone that gets in for 4 hours and learn 20 songs, and it just shows how much dedication you have. And it sounds like the upbringing that your parents had taught you as well too. And of course, you know, another American Idol associate as well too, Kelly Clarkson. I think you told more about it, and if I didn't, you can tell a little bit. And there's also a couple more too, like say with Vince Gill, Martina McBride, and the band Perry. And if you want to throw in some others to tell about and your experiences, feel free to do so.
Yeah, so Kelly was an interesting one. I was a huge fan of Kelly's, which for a lot of artists that I've worked with in the past, I either wasn't familiar with their music, or I you know, they were up and coming. Like Carrie's music wasn't released yet when I was hired for her. So I didn't have anything to really be a fan of other than knowing that she had won Idol. But Kelly, you know, was a huge pop star, and I was such a huge fan of hers. And so she had a song called Don't Rush on her Greatest Hits album. And I was brought into the studio to sing the high background vocal part on that with her and Vince Gill. Mm-hmm. And her backup singer got stuck in a flood and couldn't fly in for the award show, the performance. And so the producer called me, Dan Huff, and he asked me if I could perform it live. And it was like, I think I had 24-hour notice or something. And I was like, sure. So I showed up to the award show, and that was the first time that I had met Vince and Kelly as well. And she was amazing. She ran up to me, threw her